You know, you must have been living under a rock not to have noticed that ATVs are a bit on the nose at the moment because of all of the tragic deaths that have been occurring, particularly on farms. Now, a lot of vehicle operators are looking to try and mitigate that exposure to risk, and they're looking at UTVs like this, side-by-side, four-wheel drive vehicles with rollover protection that will do a really good job out in the field, not only of carrying that precious cargo, but also carting people across to the different jobs they've got to do. One of those vehicles that people are looking to get into in this style is this one, the Polaris Ranger Crew Diesel. It's a great unit. It will carry 6 people, and funnily enough, it'll pull a payload up to a tonne, and for a UTV, that is extraordinary.
On our test track, we got the tape measure out and discovered around 250 mil of suspension travel and about 280 mil of ground clearance. So mobility over all but the worst erosions is pretty good. The four-wheel drive system on the Polaris Crew Diesel is an all-wheel drive system with a locking rear differential and low range. In two-wheel drive, the rear axle is unlocked, but selecting high or low in four-wheel drive locks the rear end as you'd find on an ATV. This affords much better off-road ability with no diagonal wheel spin.
Now, for fleet operators who are used to ATVs with petrol engines, this Polaris Ranger will come as a pleasant surprise because it runs a diesel engine. Tucked up away underneath the back seat here is a really neat 900cc 3-cylinder Yamaha diesel. It's got plenty of torque. In fact, that torque, 90% of it is available from around about 1600 RPM. So that promises great fuel efficiency and also an ability to deal with all sorts of lumps and bumps that you might find on the trail and carry that payload successfully.
The Ranger's off-road heritage is obvious with the inclusion of diff breathers with extensions. Whilst the suspension will take a beating, the drive shafts and the CV boots are well protected. I love being able to access air filters easily, and the filter box snaps open very quickly. And the all-important dipstick and oil filler points are instantly accessible and obvious, so there's no excuse for neglect. It's got proper brakes using discs all round, so it stops effectively, and engine braking alone slows the machine nicely on steep descents. One thing we did notice was that it struggled in the sand with the recommended tyre pressures. With a 50% reduction though, it was transformed, so in coastal and desert regions or in the mud, I reckon letting air out will help the vehicle enormously. In the sand, it was a whole lot more comfortable than a Yamaha Rhino we tested recently, despite the fact that the Polaris Crew Diesel is a whole lot heavier. In part, the answer would have to be the diesel engine, because there's no substitute for torque. Because our time with the Polaris Crew Diesel was limited, we didn't get a chance to check the range of the machine, but we reckon with its 40-litre fuel tank, it should make 400 kilometres easy, depending on the terrain.
Well, we've put the Ranger Polaris Crew Diesel to the test and it's come up trumps. You know, it's a great vehicle. It's got fantastic off-road mobility, carries a really big payload, and it will also carry 6 passengers very comfortably and very safely. We've banged it over the Adventure Full Drive test track, and we reckon it's worth an 8 out of 10. It's a great machine suited to all sorts of mining and land management type applications.